So I wanted to ask you if there was any little phrase or a tiny scene that you wish had made it into the movie but didn't.
I don't want to spoil anything. Honestly, I don't think anything didn't make it in that I wanted. I think the problem with translating books into a movie, especially ones that are like a series of 5 going to be 6, is that you have like 2.5 hours to condense so much that it's, there are certain moments maybe that weren't elongated like in the book, but ultimately I think everything got jam-packed in there. That's why I think it moves so quickly. It's because there's so much going on.
Well, and because you're a fan of these books, is there any other book that you would like to recommend to the girls that have just read this one?
Oh, that's a good question. I haven't had time to experiment with reading recently. My favorite thing to do, honestly speaking, is go to bookstores, and I go to like the teen fantasy section. And that's how I actually found this book, was I saw the spine of it, and I went in and I was like, what book is this? I need to read it. So it's all about going and actually just looking for yourself. So I haven't had time to do that recently, so unfortunately I can't really recommend anything. But what I can recommend is go to bookstores. Don't just get them online.
Good. Now in the book, Magnus has the ability of blocking certain memories. Right? Is there a memory that you wish someone would block for you?
Oh, was there a moment of like fear? I wonder. I think I saw the movie Scream way too young. I think that made me afraid of the dark way too young. So maybe just like blocking the idea of seeing that.
Okay. Now, if you could create your own rune, what would it be?
I want to transport myself, so teleportation. So if I could just like draw a rune and just be like by the beach or be back here and kind of be able to travel much quicker.
And out of the ones in the book, do you have a favorite?
Fearless. Because I would love to be able to do some things I've always wanted to do, but I'm just a bit too scared, like skydiving or swimming with, sharks in a cage. I think I'd need a little bit more of an extra push to actually do those.
Now, out of the characteristics of your character, is there something you would like to keep from Fairy?
She's taught me a lot getting to play her. She's taught me a lot. I think just to continue to remind myself to find the strengths in my weaknesses, and that it's okay to be confused and it's okay to not always succeed. I think we get a little bit upset or discouraged if something doesn't go exactly how we planned. And I think it's important to know that everything happens for a reason, and you can find the positive in negatives if you just try. And Clary does that, I think, in pretty much every situation she's thrown because she has no choice.
In which ways are you similar to her?
We're very determined and very passionate and loyal. She goes on this journey and doesn't stop. She just wants to find her mom, and like nothing will get in her way. And I'm very much the same way. Like the way that this movie happened, I found out they were making it into a movie, so I said, how do I get involved? And I was like, no, I need to know, So I've always been a very determined person, but it always comes from passion.
Now, after you got cast, did you check any of the blogs and websites?
Yeah, I'm not big on social media, so I didn't even know how massive the books were before I was cast. And it was only after I was cast that all these media outlets kind of blew up. I didn't actively Google or search what responses were, but the thing also about news nowadays is that they report it without you even having to search for it. So opinions were kind of thrown at me without me even needing to look. But thank goodness, and very fortunately, everyone seemed quite positive about my casting, other than the fact that my hair was the wrong color. But those are things that can always change. So I felt very lucky in those terms.
Now, did you take anything from the set after you finished?
I did. I took my blue leather jacket with slash marks in it when I was bitten, and my Doc Marten boots, because they were very Clary to me. Yeah.
Now, what has been the craziest fan encounter you've had so far?
In Berlin, well, first of all, in North America, someone fainted for Jamie, which I thought was just insane. I never thought that I'd actually witness that. But for myself, at the Berlin premiere, as we were pulling up, there were these 4 girls bawling their eyes out because they had seen me through the car, and they were just hyperventilating. And I jumped out of the car before I was supposed to get out in my ball gown, and I hugged them, and they were shaking uncontrollably. And someone, I guess, from the distributors saw that and pulled them away and got them tickets and brought them on the carpet, and I saw them, and then proceeded to do all my photos with them. And these girls were just like, they were so just flabbergasted. They didn't know what to do. And for me, I was just like, calm down, it's okay. I just kept reminding them, like, please remember this moment. Like, you're never going to have a moment like this. Please just remember it, you know. And for me, it was that, sharing that with these young girls, because I'm sure that had such a huge impact on them for memories from their childhood, whereas they have no idea how much that made my trip special. So it was kind of like sharing in that with them.
Well, one of your fans wanted to know, since you made this movie, do you ever feel like there's another world inside your own?
Always. I've always thought I lived in a fantasy in my own head. I'm a firm believer in like spirituality and people watching over you, and you know, I've had weird kind of experiences with like ghosts or spirits and stuff, and I also believe that there are human beings that walk into your life for a particular reason, and that watch over you, and that are otherworldly, and you can't quite put a pin in it and understand it, but they're there, and they feel that way. So I always feel like there's something going on around us that we may not know about.
Well, we asked the fans to send us questions, and one question that kept popping up was if you believe in the power of runes.
Ooh, interesting. Well, I will tell this story. This is weird. I was at the premiere in Los Angeles, and this young girl that we had met on the set was at the premiere, and she asked me to draw a rune on her because she was going to get it tattooed for real. I was like, oh God, no pressure. So I just took a pen and I literally drew something on her arm, and I was looking at it, and she said, what does it mean? What's it called? And I said, well, it's the rune of grace and confidence, so that you always carry yourself with grace and confidence. And she got so excited. I was like, why, you like it? And she's like, my name's Grace. And I was like, I just said it was the rune of grace and confidence. And it was shaped like a swan. And I've always said that I wanted to get a swan tattoo because it represents to me grace and confidence in my grandmothers and like this whole personal story. But it was the fact that I created it and then her name was Grace. It was very weird. So maybe that's kind of, you know, my way of saying yes. But I'm not saying that I'm trying to give someone a power. It's just there's something a little bit weird with runes, and that they kind of have a mind of their own.
I was talking to Jace about how he likes to look at fan art. Have you ever done that with him? Is there something you like?
I did. I've looked a lot at fan art recently, I think. Also, fans at the premieres have been giving me, you know, drawings that they've done, and they're so talented. It's crazy. I do enjoy looking at them. I think that everyone's, you know, incredibly talented. I think some of them are really funny. Recently, they've been like putting together all these funny images from all the premieres of like Robbie and us, and you know, taking pictures of us from the premiere and instilling it into like movie shots. And they're very creative. The fans are very creative.
And finally, someone wanted to know if you tried the drinks at Magnus party.
Did I try them?
Yeah.
I did not try them. They shot that when I was filming another sequence. I was very jealous though. I like it. The blue drinks looked very interesting.